Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to pick up right where we left off last time talking about first year. Before I get on with histology, I want to mention a bit more about biophysics. I felt like I didn't complete the whole thing last time. So I just wanted to mention, like, as soon as you come in, you're going to have biophysics practicals every 2 weeks. And during this time, you're going to do some experiments that you're going to have to take readings for and make note of and fill up your protocols in or with. So what's going to happen is after you're done with your experiments, your professor will let you know about where you can find the protocols. You just fill them up with whatever readings, findings, the conclusions, what you infer from that practical, just put that down and upload it on Moodle. So Moodle is this website wherein we upload our projects as well as like whatever assignments we get online. So make sure you don't leave everything till the end, because quite a lot of people that I know wait till the end of winter semester to submit their protocols. Do it as soon as you can, submit it, get it out of the way so that you have a smooth sailing with your examinations in the winter. So these practicals, you need to like make sure you're done with all your protocols to be able to do your final exam in the winter. So what's going to be there in the final exam? For the final exam, you're going to have to pick up a triplet, and there's going to be like 3 questions in that. That's why it's called a triplet. And in that piece of paper, you're going to get questions that you would have had seen throughout the year about stuff. For example, like MRI is one question. The other question could be something from high school that you could be familiar with, like, for example, Reynolds number, about turbulence, etc., etc. So maybe one could even be about a problem regarding resistance. These are things that you should know about pretty well. But before you get into the triplet round, for my year, that was all we had, the oral examination. But from the next year onwards, they included a written part. So make sure you study well for the oral part so that your written part also goes smoothly, because it's a pretty simple exam, quite easy as well. So I really wouldn't recommend you to mess it up. It's going to be your first final of the year, and like you really want to make sure that it goes well, you know. So that's enough about biophysics, and let's get right back into the other juggernaut of the year, which is histology. So unlike anatomy, I feel like quite a few people like neglect histology, like maybe leave it towards the end to study. But since you're starting out and like you're not really sure if you want to do anatomy or histology first, I would definitely recommend you to pay attention to what happens in histology, especially during the first couple of weeks, because they talk about the importance of staining, stuff to the slides, and I feel like these are really important topics. Like, students are just trying to figure out how to wake up in the morning at this point, but even then, you gotta like focus on how staining works, because staining is such an important topic. Like, I can't stress enough about how important it is going to be in the finals. Like, you definitely need to know your staining really well, or it could definitely mess up your finals. So, histology, how does it work? You're gonna have tests depending on which group you are. Like once every like 2-3 weeks, it's going to be a theory that you're going to learn. It's going to be a multiple choice, and the multiple choice, the catch to it is all 4 options for that question could be right or wrong, or like none of the options could be right as well, or all the options could be right also. So make sure you thoroughly study it. My recommendation for doing histology would be to use Junqueras. It's really good. Go through the book, as well as buying this blue book. I don't really have it with me right now, but it's like a book recommended by the histology department to make sure you note down whatever happens during the class. I don't remember its name because I came quite late to the university, so I had to like make use of a book like this. I basically just made a pseudo version of the histology record book. So make sure you get it as soon as you come here, because it's a book high in demand and it's definitely going to be quite useful for you. But in case if you don't manage to snag one, just make sure like you go to Albert, Bill, or Tesco and just like buy it normal 10 crowns book, and just like, you know, make notes during class, because those notes that you're going to make use of towards the end. And let me tell you, histology class, making notes is going to be one of the best things that you do. Of course, sometimes the topics could get monotonous, but don't doze off. Keep writing. That's like the best way to make sure you pay attention during the class. So in the winter, apart from the tests, most apart from the MCQ test, rather, you're going to have slide tests towards the January December time. So make sure you use this application called Olivia. It's going to be available on the Histology website. Download it, make use of it. Make sure you're really thorough with your slides, because even if they're not going to be as big of an issue right now, towards the finals they definitely will be. And apart from studying for the oral part, you want to make sure like your slide part also goes well. So yeah, that's about the winter. In the summer, what's going to happen is, again, this pattern is going to continue, but rather than the MCQ test, you're going to have more of the slide tests. And towards the end, your like slide knowledge is definitely going to be pretty well built. But that's again going to depend on how much you revise it. Like, go back to the older topics, revise for it. Honestly, the best way to do this is to have consultations with your respective professors. So during the consultation, make sure like whatever topic you have a doubt in, like you study for it pretty well. Make sure you're definitely thorough with it, and make sure you have like you leave a good impression on the professors as well, because these professors are going to be examining you as well. So you really don't want to make it seem like you're clueless about whatever topic you're asking them about. Or, I mean, it's definitely good to have doubts, yes, but make sure you have a general idea about the topic. Like, for example, if you have the respiratory system, make sure you cover everything that the professor talked to you about, like during the lecture, as well as like during the practical classes as well. And then like whatever doubts you might have, just go and like, make sure you clear it up. Like, definitely don't leave any doubts for the end. Like, clear it up as soon as it pops up. And yeah, that's how summer goes. And towards the finals, when it comes to it in the summer, like again, the exam time usually opens up for pre-terms around like end of May, and the regular examination time is there from like beginning of June. But my recommendation is, if you're going to do histology first, do it like in the beginning of June. Do it then, give your first attempt. If histology is the main subject that you want to go after. If anatomy is your main subject, then do anatomy at the beginning of June, slash second week of June. And yeah, or if histology is going to be like the subject that you're going to do after anatomy, then make sure you're really thorough with it. Again, your oral bit is going to determine how your slide test goes. So what's the structure for this? So for histology, again, there's going to be 3 parts. First part is going to be the written part. It's going to be the MCQ bit that you had during the winter, which you may not have as much in the summer. Of course, you're going to have some MCQ tests here and there, but mainly it's going to be slide tests. But back on track with the examination, first part is going to be the written part with the MCQ. So what's going to happen here? Here again, you get 4 options for each question. You get to have there's like a time limit, I think, for around half an hour. I'm not too sure. It's been around 3 years since I had given my exam. So yeah. Again, all the options could be wrong, all the options could be right, or like 1 or 2 options could be wrong or right. That's how the pattern goes, similar to how your winter semester examinations went. Then after you pass that, the next bit would be about the orals. This is quite tough, to be honest, and make sure you thoroughly study like everything. Like, apart from going through junk errors, I would recommend you to go through the slides that your professors upload, lectures as well as like practical classes. In case if they don't upload it onto the website, make sure you approach the professors and ask them for the presentations. They're going to be very useful for you. They're going to contain important points that the professors might have talked about during the lecture. So make sure you pay real close attention during the lectures, and make sure you get the lecture presentations after it's done. So that was 2. Now we go to part 3, which is the slide test. Now, slide test, if you do well on the first 2 parts, usually the slide test goes smoothly. But in case if your oral wasn't so great, then the slide test is going to be a saving grace. It's going to make sure like you pass somehow or the other. So make sure you study your slides really well. And for the slide test, again, make sure you learn your staining thoroughly. Like, I can't emphasize enough staining. Like, know all of your staining. Apart from H and D, you got to know all the other stainings and like what importance they play in staining various other structures. So I really beseech you guys to make sure like you know everything thoroughly before you give your attempt. Like, this is a point that I can't stop emphasizing about. Like, in this university, I feel like a lot of people, without being prepared, they just want to like be done with the exam and they just give an attempt, without being fully prepared. So make sure you prepare for it and everything will go smoothly for you. So this is going to be part 2, and I'm going to end here, and um, I'll continue on with part 3 next time. Yeah. So that's it for today. If you guys like the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know down below what else you guys would like to know about. So that's it for today's video. See you next time.